Welcome to lecture number 18 for signals and systems. In last class, we discussed about convergence of Fourier series, right? Convergence of Fourier series, right? We said if three conditions are met, we can transform any signal. First of all, first condition was that signal must be absolutely integrable, right? Second condition was that the signal must have finite number of minima and maxima. Finite number of minima and maxima. And third condition was the signal must have finite number of discontinuities, right? Finite number of discontinuities, right? If these three conditions are guaranteed, we can find the Fourier transform, right? Although these conditions are also necessary for Fourier series as well. These are called Dirichlet conditions, right? Dirichlet was scientist who supported Fourier, because earlier Fourier was unable to prove that any signal can be shown in the form of sines and cosines, right? Time domain signal cannot be shown, but Dirichlet helped him. When Dirichlet gave mathematical proof, then Fourier series became widely available for and it was published. Okay, so in today's class we will be discussing about properties of Fourier transform, right? And mainly we will be discussing these properties. There are many other properties, but these are very essential properties, so we will cover them. These are the properties: linearity, time shifting, conjugate symmetry, differentiation, time and frequency scaling, Parseval relation, convolution property, and integration property, right? So we start from the notion that if we have a time domain signal, right, and if we wish to compute its frequency domain signal, right, then we use this formula, right? Which formula? That x of j omega is equal to from minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power. Now remember, if you wish to compute frequency spectrum, always in any transform exponent is always minus sign, right, dt. And if you wish to compute time domain signal, if you are given with frequency domain signal, then you use this formula, which is x of t is equal to of t is equal to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t dt, right? The reason for writing it again and again is that you must get acquainted with these formulas. These are very essential formulas, right? Okay, so the first property is linearity. What linearity states is that, for example, if you have a signal x of t and its transform is, for example, x of j omega, right, and you got another signal that is, for example, y of t and its transform is y of j omega, then if there is another signal that is equal to sum of these both signals, right, sum of these both signals with some arbitrary coefficients multiplied, for example, right? Then you don't need to first add them and then find the Fourier transform. Once you know the Fourier transform of these both components, all you need is just to multiply those components with the coefficients associated and add them, right? So the associated Fourier transform must be a plus b, ax of j omega plus by of j omega, right? So you can find this likewise. Okay, now the second property is time shift. Time shifting property, right? We know that for example that if we have a signal x of t, for example its Fourier transform is x of j omega, right? And we have, if we wish to compute x of t minus t naught, what must be its Fourier transform, right? So let us compute. We know that if we have frequency component available, then x of t is equals to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega, right? And if we have another signal that is a bit shifted, for example x of t minus t naught, now wherever this t is available, right, this t, then we have to replace this value with t minus t naught, right? So x of t minus t naught must be equal to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t minus t naught, right, dt, right? If you replace t with t naught, then dt is again what does it mean? Means, for example, if we have assume t is equal to t minus t naught, then dt must be again dt, because this t naught is constant and constant is derivative 0, right? So dt. Now for if you solve this particular, if you solve this e to the power j omega t minus t naught, we can rewrite it as e to the power j omega t times e to the power minus j omega t naught, right? So we are going to replace this. So this must be equal to 1 over 2 pi summation from minus infinity to infinity e to the power minus j omega t naught x of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega, right? So if you see now, whenever we have a frequency response in inverse Fourier transform, if we wish to compute time domain signal, its frequency response is always given as input here, right? Now if we have a shifted input, you can see its frequency response must be this thing, right? Because this belongs to formula. So this must be the frequency response of this shifted signal. So we say if we have x of t and its Fourier transform is x of j omega, then if we have shifted signal x of t minus t naught, its Fourier transform must be e to the power minus j omega t naught x of j omega, right? Clear? Very easy. Okay, so now moving further, the third property is conjugate symmetry, right? conjugate symmetry. So again, the definition of x of t is that our x of t is equals to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to plus infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega, right? Okay, now if you conjugate both sides, if you conjugate both sides, then what would you get? You will get x of t conjugate must be equal to, now you can see we have, first of all we must know what is conjugate, right? So z is equal to, for example, we have a real component and plus imaginary component. If you conjugate this z, then this must be equal to a minus j omega, means the imaginary components are negated always, right? It means its out its value must be changed from, if it is minus, then it would its conjugate must be plus. Real component is unchanged, you can see here, right? There is no change in real component, only the sign of imaginary component is changed, right? So we can write this equation as 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power, now this j was plus earlier, now this must be minus j omega t d omega, right? But the problem now is this is not the equation for inverse Fourier transform. This was the equation for Fourier transform earlier, but now this is if we have e to the power j omega t positive d omega, then this would be equation for inverse Fourier transform. So one thing we can do is we want to put omega is equal to minus omega, right? Then what would be the output? X star or conjugate of t is 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity. Now this would be x of minus j omega, because we have substituted omega with minus omega, then e to the power j omega t d omega. Now you can see the if the signal is conjugate of the original signal, then its frequency response is this one, right? So we can say that if x of t has Fourier transform x of j omega, then conjugate of that signal must have frequency response of x of minus j omega, right? Very easy. Okay, now for example, what if this x of t is real? For example, what I mean to say is, if x of t is real, then there would be no change in x of t, right? For example, we have x of t equals to 3, for example. If you find conjugate of x of t, you would again get 3, there will be no change, right? So we say that if x of t is real, if x of t is real, then x of j omega must be equal to x of j omega, right? How? For example, if we taking this side, so first of all we want x of minus j omega, that must be equal to integral from minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power, now we have this minus, so minus j omega t dt, right? So minus minus plus, because we have the original equation is that x of j omega Fourier transform equation is from minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. But now if we want to go put omega is equal to minus omega, then this would be x of minus omega, and this exponent must be positive, right? Now, for example, we conjugate both sides. Then what would we get? We would get this must be equal to from minus infinity to infinity x star of t e to the power minus j omega t dt, right? So because if x of t is real and it's not imaginary, its value will be always unchanged. So we can rewrite it as e to the power from minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. So you can see this formula and this formula are very same. So this must be equal to x of j omega, and x of minus j omega is equal to x of j omega when x of t is real. For if x of t is complex, this property is not valid, right? This is only valid for when x of t input signal is real, right? Okay, so the fourth property, before going to that, for example, take an example. We have, for example, x of t is equals to e to the power minus at u of t, right? So let's compute its Fourier transform. Fourier transform by definition is x of j omega is equal to from minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. Now this is the input signal, so this must be equal to from minus infinity to infinity e to the power minus at u of t u of t times c to the power minus j omega t, does not matter. Okay, so you know that u of t, if we draw u of t, this is t, this is u of t, right? Now we know that u of t exists from only 0 to infinity and its amplitude is always 1. So this u of t would reduce this integral from 0 to infinity e to the power minus at e to the power minus j omega t dt, right? Now solving it further, okay, easy, nice and easy. So if we have solved it many times, so I am excluding this. How we can solve? You can solve it by yourself. This must be equal to minus a plus j omega from 0 to infinity, and this must be equal to minus a plus j omega times minus 1, because e to the power minus infinity is 0, minus e to the power 0 is 1. So this would be minus 1 and minus would be plus. So this must be equal to 1 upon a plus j omega, right? Uh, so for example, if you rationalize it, this must be equal to a minus j omega upon a square plus omega square, right? Now we can write it as a upon a square plus omega square minus j omega upon a square plus omega square, right? So this is x of j omega, right? Now what we want to see here is, for example, we say that we wish to put x of minus j omega. We want to put omega is equal to minus omega. Then what we would get? Uh, a upon a square plus omega square, right? Minus into minus plus j omega upon a square plus omega square, right? So you can see that this is the original equation, right? This is the real part of x of j omega, right? And this is imaginary part of x of j omega. You can see the real part of x of j omega is equal to real part of x of minus j omega, right? These two values are, you can see these two values are exactly same. So real part that hasn't changed a bit, right? But what about imaginary part? Imaginary part is negated, so we can say that imaginary part of x of j omega is equal to minus imaginary part of x of minus j omega, right? So if you multiply this with minus, then you will get this one. Yeah, or you multiply minus with this one, you will get this one. So this is a relation, right? This is a conjugate symmetry relation, right? Clear? So another property that we said, that x conjugate of j omega is equal to x of minus j omega, right? So what should be the x of minus j omega? X of minus j omega must be x of minus j omega is equals to again rewrite, x of j omega was equal to 1 upon a plus j omega, and x of minus j omega is equal to 1 over a minus j omega. What about conjugate? X conjugate of j omega is equals to again a minus j omega, right? Because we will only change the sign of this one, right? Imaginary part. So we can conclude from here, as we said, that x conjugate of j omega is equal to x of minus j omega, right? Okay, so moving further, the fourth property is differentiation. We say if x of t has Fourier transform x of j omega, right? Then if we derivate the signal in time domain, what must be its frequency domain? Okay, so we are going to see what we are going to get, right? So for example, we say that x of t by definition is equal to 1 over 2 pi, right? Inverse Fourier transform only, not fast Fourier. That transform is different from this one. This must be equal to x of j omega e to the power plus j omega d omega, right? Now you can see if we derivate d by dx x of t, you can see this is j omega, this is omega. Only term which contains time domain signal is this one. So we if we directly find derivative of this thing, then we will get the answer. What must be the derivative of this one? First of all, we must know what is the derivative of f of x, right? D by dx of f of x. This must be equal to original function e to the power f of x multiplied by derivative of the exponent, right? So what must be the derivative of exponent here? We are derivating with respect to time, so this must be j omega, right? And original function e to the power j omega t. So replacing that value here would get us 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity j omega x of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega. Now see, if we have time domain signal, this one, its frequency response is this, right? Only this, right? So if we derivate the signal, its frequency response is this. So we can say, we can conclude that if x of t is Fourier transform of x of t is x of j omega, then d by dt of that input signal is Fourier transform j omega x of j omega. You can see we talked about differentiation filter. So this omega, what would this omega do? As frequency increases, the amplitude is multiplied with associated frequency. So amplification would be better, right? Amplitude of the signal in frequency domain would be increasing as we progress with omega, right? As value of omega, for example, this is x of j omega. If you, whatever the value of x of j omega here is multiplied with similar value, and for example, this is 1, this is 10. So here this signal must be multiplied with 10 of x of j omega. So the higher frequencies are amplified and lower frequencies are not that proportionally, we can say the omega is proportionally multiplied with the amplitude of the frequency spectrum of the original signal, right? So the fifth property, I hope this is clear now, very easy. Okay, the fifth property is time scaling or frequency scaling. Time scaling or frequency scaling, right? So for example, if we have a signal x of t its Fourier transform is x of j omega. Then if we have another signal, for example x of at, right, we wish to find what must be its Fourier transform. Okay, so we know that x of t is equals to 1 over 2 pi, this is 1, from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t d omega, right? Then we have another signal which is scaled, right, x of at, this must be equal to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j a omega right? Now x of a t must be equal to 1 over 2 pi. For example, we say, for example, that now omega is equal to omega over a. So what we will get? X of j omega over a, right? E to the power, this is with respect to d omega, remember, right? So if omega is this value, then d omega must be 1 over a, right? D omega. So this must be equal to e to the power j omega t and d omega, and now we got another term 1 over a. Now the value of 1 over a depends on if it is positive, right? If it is positive, then t is equal to t, for example. If the value of a is negative, then minus must be multiplied. So we always put absolute on this value, right? And we say that if x of t is Fourier transform x of j omega, then x of t's Fourier transform you don't need to compute from the scratch, just multiply and scale the frequency response, right? So this is time shifting only, right? But what about the frequency shift? For example, now this time we have now, for example, the second part of this is frequency scaling, for example, right? So, for example, we have signal x of t, its Fourier transform is x of j omega, right? Then for example, we have e to the power minus j omega t naught. Some complex coefficient is multiplied with input, part must be the output, right? So we know that x of t is equals to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power minus j omega t d omega. So this is not minus, this is plus. Always if I have written somewhere minus, then that is also incorrect. And if I have integrated with dt, if I am computing x of t, that is also incorrect. So if here is x of t, there must be always d omega, right? If I am computing x of j omega, then this must be dt. If I am computing x of t, the exponent is always positive. If I am computing x of j omega, then this exponent must always be negative, right? If I write otherwise, that is incorrect. So what if we multiply both sides with e to the power minus j omega t naught? For example, this is plus, does not matter. It's a frequency shift. E to the power j omega t naught must be multiplied on both sides, right? So solving it further, we would get from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power. Now base are same, power are to be added, right? So j omega t plus t naught d omega, and we know this is not the equation for inverse Fourier transform. We have to make some changes to make it again as equation for Fourier transform, inverse Fourier transform. So what we can do is, one thing we can do is we want to, for example, I have made a mistake. So sorry, this must be a shift in frequency. I have given shift in time, so this is incorrect. We were giving shift in frequency, but I have given shift in time, so this is now this must be equal to e to the power minus j omega naught t, e to the power minus j omega naught t. So maybe I want to cancel it and write it again, right? So other way I just want to remove this particular thing. Okay. So frequency scaling. We say if we now shift this E, we give a small shift omega naught in frequency, then what must be the effect on the signal? So we say if x of t is equal to 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power j omega t and d omega, if we multiply both sides with e to the power j omega naught t, an exponential signal, then what we get is 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega e to the power, now j omega plus omega naught t d omega, right? And this is not the transform, this is not the signal for, we know inverse Fourier transform has only e to the power j omega t d omega, right? So one thing we can do is we substitute omega is equal to omega minus omega naught, then what we would get is 1 over 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity x of j omega minus omega naught, right? E to the power j, when you put this omega is equal to omega minus omega naught, this omega naught would be cancelled and only we will be left with this. Now we know that this is now fine. This is same equation like we have of the inverse Fourier transform. So if x of t had x of j omega frequency response, then this frequency shifted signal is frequency response is this thing. So we say if x of t is equal to x of j omega, right, then e to the power j omega naught t means a frequency shift if given to the signal in time domain, the frequency is shifted in frequency domain, right? Okay, so we are going to end it here, and we will be discussing convolution property and another very important property that is called our integration property in next class, right?
Okay, sir.